Hi and welcome back. We're going to continue going through chapter 5, and we're going to talk about how we set objectives in a marketing plan and what they depend upon. Um, and the first thing we're going to look at is the current situation, both internally and in the outside environment. So what's the SWOT analysis, if you will? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are the opportunities and threats in the outside environment? Current situation is going to include market size, market growth, competition, um, all of those pieces. We're going to look specifically at the customers in our targeted segment. We want to match our mission and goals for the organization. And we obviously, it depends on, we know what our targeted segments are, we need to know our positioning. So all of those pieces have to do, once we know those pieces, then we can set up objectives, which are tactical goals, tactical plans to achieve the objectives that we've set up. So um, different kinds of objectives we might have. Um, Marketing objectives, so we'll talk about those. Those are specific, um, measurable objectives for marketing. Might include market share, or might include just recognition of a brand name, or number of people who've tried the product, or lots of different kinds of objectives we might have in marketing objectives. Financial objectives, usually things like gross sales, gross margins, return on investment, those kinds of metrics would set our financial objectives. And then social objectives, societal objectives have become more and more important. And I read some of your comments from chapter 4 questions regarding products you bought recently, and I just asked you what products you bought recently, and how you perceive the targeting. And several of you mentioned that you'd chosen products because they fit with your social or ecological beliefs. You wanted a all natural product. You wanted a product that was organic. You wanted a product that was not produced using chemicals, or certain kinds of chemicals. So you're making choices based on societal objectives. So the marketer needs to make those choices as well. If those are important choices for you, then they're important choices for the marketer. The marketer may also have valid social goals within their mission and vision statements. So the organization itself might have social goals. So we're trying to achieve healthier food, or cleaner water, or um, more equitable sharing of resources, or something. And remember, everybody markets, not just for-profit businesses. So many nonprofits have social goals as part of their reason for being. So their marketing should include those social objectives as far as their measurement of what they're doing. So metrics that we might use, and metrics are really important. If you can't measure it, you can't accomplish it. So you can't manage it. Can't measure it, can't manage it is one of my favorite statements, and sometimes gets me into trouble, but I think it's really important. You got to be able to measure things to manage them effectively. So common metrics for measuring these things. Um, you might measure how many customers you've acquired in a certain period. So in the first 6 months, I want to acquire 1,000 new customers. How many customers I've retained. Customer retention may be more important to you than customer acquisition. So I want to maintain, I want to maintain 90% of my existing customers, or 95% of my existing customers. How satisfied are my customers? Maybe that's more important to me than numbers. What's their satisfaction with the product, with my service, with whatever it is that I'm doing? Maybe I want to measure my channel relationships. So how am I doing in my relationships with my retailers, wholesalers, or my suppliers? It might be part of the purpose of my marketing plan is to improve relationships with my channels in order to have my channels sell a higher percentage of my product and a lower percentage of somebody else's product. Unit sales, that's an easy one, easy to measure anyway. Market share, usually fairly easy to measure. How much am I selling relative to the entire market? So what percentage of the market the specific market do I have? I might measure product development. How fast am I developing new products? How innovative are they? All sorts of different measurements I might put on product development. And a logistics measurement, order fulfillment. How fast can I deliver product? Much of Amazon's marketing, they're probably their number one marketing objective is to deliver quickly, fulfill at a very high rate, and do it quickly. Don't put people on back order for 2 weeks. Don't take a long time to deliver. Get people a product that they want as soon as is practicable. And they're coming up with ways to make that faster and faster, and have invested billions of dollars building distribution centers so that they can deliver faster. That's their mantra. If we're going to be an internet only store, what advantage do bricks and mortar stores have? Well, when you see it, you buy it, you get it right away. We want to match that. We want to do it virtually. We want to do it on the internet, but you want to see it, buy it, and get it almost right away, and maybe even right away with drones and other things. So marketing objective for them, definitely order fulfillment is right there in the number one position in their marketing objectives. Kinds of financial objectives you might have to be, obviously they have to be consistent with your marketing objectives. You can't have a financial objective that's different from a marketing objective in terms of its endpoint. In financial objectives, these are usually relatively easier metrics to come up with, though they may be hard to acquire some of these. But sales volume and product targets, so I want to do the X number of sales. I want to do offer X number of products. I want to be maintain some level of profitability, a 30% margin or a 40% margin. I want to have a return on investment either for my marketing plan or for my overall company. So if I'm going to invest $1 million in marketing, this is the return I want on that marketing. Might be it, or it might be an overall ROI. Or we might have break-even targets. So we hopefully most of you know how to compute break-even. If you've had an accounting or finance course in this program, you know that, or probably an economics course as well. But break-even is how many do I have to sell to cover my fixed costs. So to break even, to make zero, how much do I have to sell? And then once you go beyond break even, every item you sell, the marginal dollars fall to the bottom line or profit. So understanding break even targets might be a financial objective. I want to break even, or I want to break even and make X dollars, whatever. Social objectives or societal objectives, they might be part of our mission statement. They definitely can be an important connection with the customers, as I discussed earlier. And they're certainly an important part of any sustainable organization's success. If you don't have core social values and social objectives in today's world, you probably don't have a sustainable model. So it's really important that those social objectives be in and be measured in your marketing objectives and plans. So this is something and this is in your textbook, and it's emphasized somewhat in the textbook. I'm going to emphasize it more strongly from my own experience. If you don't sell whatever you're trying to do internally first, you're probably not going to succeed. You have to sell whatever it is you're planning to do to your own internal organization before you're going to be successful implementing that plan and selling it outside the organization. So you gotta get your team on board, or it's probably not going to work. So internally, depending on the size of the company and what it is that you're doing, you can sell the plan internally with internal newsletters, web pages, meetings of various sorts, either training meetings or sales meetings. My method of doing it in small and relatively small businesses with fewer than a couple hundred employees was walking around, talking to people, getting their input, telling them what we're thinking about doing and what do you think of this and does it make sense and were you supporting it? This is what's going to do to your position. This is what you're going to have to contribute to make this work. That kind of stuff. So walking around was a method that I used a lot. Obviously doesn't work if you've got hundreds of thousands of employees. Doesn't work as well anyway. Still might work. But that communicating what you're doing, and it's just as much of a marketing plan as that external marketing plan, because you've got to get buy-in before you implement. You have to have people supporting it. So there you go, get buy-in. And it's key. It's absolutely key. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you don't get buy-in, you're not going to get the support that you need to implement your plan. You need 100% commitment from your team, from the people in your organization, in order for you to reach success. And the only way you're going to get that is if you convince them that it's the best thing for them and the best thing for the organization. Then the final piece we're going to talk about, and also a key piece, is customer service. There's customer service before the sale for many products. There's definitely customer service at the point of sale, and there's customer service after the sale. It is, in today's market, a primary differentiator between different products. You can have very similar products. One product offers good customer service before, during, and after the sale. The other one maybe offers good customer service before the sale and at this point of sale, but not so much after the point of sale, and that product probably is not going to be as successful. The after the sale service has become a huge differentiator in products, and I'll use Dell Computer as an example. Dell, for those of you who don't know, Dell really invented a new way to build computers and became the by far dominant player in the PC market by doing so. So they were building essentially custom computers and delivering them to the consumer in 5 to 7 days. And they were doing it with a worldwide supply chain. And from the Dell standpoint, they were doing it with the customer's money because the customer was paying ahead of time before the computer was even built. So they had cash flow before they had expenses. So they didn't need to use their own capital to build inventory. Fabulous model. Drove Dell from a college dorm room project to a huge multinational corporation. But on the backside, the after the sale, Dell decided, sort of in the middle of their huge success, to find ways to save money on the aftermarkets customer service. And by doing so, they opened the door to myriad competitors who had copied their efficiencies in design build, and maybe even improved on them, but mostly Dell chased their customers away. They provided such bad customer service that people, and I'm speaking somewhat personally here, I was using Dell as a corporate supplier, and I was very, very happy with them until their customer service fell off the map. Couldn't get a phone answered. If you did get the phone answered, the person that answered it couldn't solve the problem. Um, just really, but really, really bad customer service. And the next major purchase of servers and so forth that I made was with another company. It wasn't with Dell anymore because I couldn't deal with their customer service. So that's an example of what happens if you don't do customer service right. You chase away existing customers, and those existing customers talk. And these days with social media, they talk with a pretty big megaphone about how bad service can be. So customer service has to be built into your plan, and it has to be built in both before, during, and after the sale. And the after the sale is the hard one because the after the sale may not be a revenue generator, or at least an obvious revenue generator, but it is a key to customer retention. And a little later on, we'll talk about how expensive it is to get new customers. Keeping your customers you have is generally a lot cheaper and a lot more efficient. So we want to keep our customers. How do we do that? We provide it with good service. So what are you trying to do with customer service? Obviously, you want to meet the needs and expectations of your customer base, your segment. You use it to attract customers, but more important is to retain and satisfy customers. That's what customer service does. You reinforce your positioning. Obviously, if you're the product that is high quality, if that's your position in the marketplace, reliable, high quality, then your customer service has to reinforce that. You definitely have to look at putting the service resources where they're needed, obviously, and realize that customer service it's almost impossible to make it perfect, but if it falls off the rails, you have to address it aggressively. So what happens if you have a restaurant and you have a regular customer always providing them good customer service? Every time they come in, they're happy, and then one time they get bad service. Will they come back again? Probably not. So if you know that you have the possibility of occasionally it's a bad day, I'm not going to provide perfect service every day. You have to have a fail-safe. If I provide bad service, I have to make it up to that person before they decide to move in a whole different direction and not come back to my restaurant or whatever service I'm providing. So you have to deal with that. And it's often expensive and painful. And you might think it's not really your fault, it's the customer's fault or whatever, but you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to have positive customer service all the time. So that wraps up chapter 5. A couple of short questions afterwards, and that also wraps up week 5. Please make sure that you're participating in the group discussion robustly, that you're reading other people's comments, that you're joining the discussion. We don't have a live classroom, but our virtual classroom can be really stimulating if you all participate. So please participate, and remember, as the whip or the stick, it is a graded discussion. So I will grade your enthusiasm for the process. So thanks. Bye.